This is my relatively new M2, and it has a manual transmission. A lot of people ask me, why on earth did you choose a manual transmission in this day and age, especially in a car that's got roughly, the dynos are inconclusive, but circa 500 horsepower? And the answer is, because I enjoy it. End video, roll credits. This is going to be a slightly different video. Most of my videos are quite structured, and I'm trying to tell you guys something and inform you guys and educate and entertain, I guess. But in this video, I'm just going to talk about my thought. Hopefully somebody watches it. I don't know. If you like it, give it a like. If you don't like it, go away. If you didn't like it, you wouldn't have clicked in the first place, eh?
But first, if you're a petrol head and you don't have an OBD reader, what are you even doing? Go and get yourself an OBD11. OBD11 is compatible with BMW, all the Volkswagen Group cars, and also the Toyota Group, including Lexus. OBD11 is super easy to use. You just plug it in, it detects your car, and then you can scan your car. And my car actually has 3 faults. And the battery's low because I haven't been driving it as much as I should be. We're going to clear those. All good. All cleared. Now, what sets OBD11 apart from the rest of the OBD devices that you can find out there is they have one-click apps. Do you want to permanently open your exhaust? One click. Do you want your rear lights to be on when you've got daytime running lights? One click. Do you want to make sure start-stop is always off? One click. And OBD11 is absolutely chock full of these. OBD11 has 20% off during its winter sale. Just use the link in the description to get 20% off on certain products. If you don't want those products, there's also my discount code, which is MIC, which will give you 10% off on anything else. Support the hell out of OBD11 because they support me to keep making these videos. Right then, let's get back on the road and continue talking about why Manuel.
I lived with a dual clutch automatic hot hatchback for 2 years, a Megane RS 300.
Second gear pulls.
It was a wonderful car. And at the time, I was living in London and I was doing a lot of site visits and client meetings in London. And that was the first automatic car I'd ever gotten. Ask anyone that's driven a Renault Sport Megane RS 300 and they will tell you the gearboxes are fantastic. I thought the same. They're really good. You press a paddle, you get the gear change. It feels just fantastic. My career then moved on and I now work from home. I don't have a commute. I don't really do a lot of client visits all that much. The thing is, everyone will tell you automatic is the only way to go. The new M2, this new M2, is available with an 8-speed ZF automatic transmission, which a lot of people think is really, really good. And it is. The BMW mapped automatic transmissions from ZF are fantastic. They've got 8 gears, so you get a really low cruising RPM on the motorway. They're great. And I don't look down upon anybody that buys one of those automatics. They're really, really good. I'm a car enthusiast. That's what the whole point of the channel is. This channel is a safe space for me to share my passion for cars. And no matter who you are, no matter what you think about cars, it is indisputable that driving a manual is more fun and more engagement and more enjoyable than driving an auto. Yes, in an auto you can use manual mode and change your own gears, and I have a whole video about that. You can watch it up here. It's called How to Use Manual Mode. But what you can't get is that interaction between a gear lever and a clutch pedal. Is the fact that every time you launch the car, you have to do it yourself. You don't just hold the throttle down and then just do that with your hand behind the steering wheel. It's interactive. There's a level of getting it wrong and the possibility of getting it wrong, as silly as that sounds. In an auto, You cannot mess up. But with a manual, you can not rev match a down change and it be uncomfortable. You can miss an upshift. You can let the clutch out too quickly or too slowly. And it just makes the machine feel alive. It makes it more enjoyable. And that's fundamentally all I care about. We're going to look at the use case for this car for me, right? This is not a flex, I'm just being honest. I go to the office once every 2 weeks. The office is about an hour away and it's on country roads like this. The vast majority of my driving is on country roads like this. There's not traffic. The only thing I could possibly want on country roads like this is an enjoyable drive. Maybe we should overtake this Audi for me to explain this a little bit better. All I really want on these country roads is something that feels good, feels enjoyable. And the manual gives you more of that. Would the automatic be quicker? Potentially. Maybe not even. Might be exactly the same, and at the end of the day I'm just using third air anyway. Well, we're now up to fourth because I just wanted it to be ever so slightly reduced in its throttle response because of all the wetness on the road. Don't really want to go sideways here. The road is very narrow and I may die. The manual gearbox is just interactive and enjoyable. I find it more fun. I enjoy using it more. Would I get to my destination a little bit easier with the auto? Yes. But I don't want to get there easier. I want to enjoy my way there. That's what the manual gives you. Now, in a town situation or in traffic, it's a nightmare. And that's why when I lived in London, I had the auto. If you drive through a lot of towns and you sit in traffic all day, no, don't do this. Don't do this to yourself. The brand new autos are so good. I mean, you could get a 1 litre economy box that's going to have a really good automatic transmission. You don't need a manual anymore. 90% of drivers should be in autos. If my wife is going to get a new car, it'll be an auto because it's better, it's easier. That's the truth. But for the 5% of us that actually enjoy driving, which is a crazy thing to say because people just don't enjoy driving anymore. Cars have electric steering racks and they're not very communicative. It's not a normal thing to enjoy driving anymore. Driving is just a chore. People are just getting themselves to where they want to be. So why add to the chore, right? Why give yourself double chore by having a manual? But if you like the interaction, if you want a little bit more fun, it is the way to go. Because you come into a corner, you brake, you drop a gear, you drop another gear, you drop another gear, and then you got the right gear to accelerate out. And it just feels good. You can go from 4th into 6th, which you can't do in an auto. It just feels good. It just feels nice and enjoyable. Also, as far as my use case goes, on country lanes like this, you're constantly changing gear, and I have never found an auto that chooses correctly in this scenario. And it can't, because an auto, unless it links into the camera and looks forward, does not know what's coming up. So it doesn't know I'm about to go into a corner. It doesn't know there's a car that I have to slow down for, so I'm not going to be in the right gear anymore. It doesn't know all this stuff. So even in auto, you're going to be using those manual paddles. So why not just have the third pedal, change gears yourself, go down to the correct gear, and smash the throttle? It's so much more fun. I think there's a bigger topic here around the death of car culture, or the death of, I don't know what it is, but something's dying. look at this. Second, third, fourth, fifth, and then we cruise in sixth. It's just so nice. It's part of being a petrol head, rowing your own gears. I actually wish, one of my complaints with this car is that number one, it's way too powerful, and number two, the gears are too long. So you notice there, when I did that, I actually short shifted. I only got up to about 4,000 or 5,000 RPM. I didn't get all the way to 7,500, which is the red line. And that's because the gears are really tall. So if you want to change gear a lot, which I do because it's enjoyable, it also means that you have to just not use the full potential of the car, which is a little bit annoying. Wish the gears were shorter. I do, however, I love the long sixth in this car. I think at 70 miles an hour, it revs like, it's either 2,600 or 2,200. I can't actually tell you. Can you guys tell what RPM that is? I think it's 2,600. Couldn't tell you. But a long sixth is fantastic because when you're making long journeys, when you're on the motorway, when you're just trying to get somewhere, it just takes the edge off of that journey. But the other gears, especially, I think one thing that is egregious to me is second gear being above 60 miles an hour. So this car at Redline is 72 miles an hour in second gear. This might come across as the dumbest first world problem complaint, and I don't want to come across as ungrateful for this car because it's a brilliant car. But I have to just make you guys aware of the real world of these types of cars. So second gear peaks at 72 miles an hour. And that is such a missed opportunity, in my opinion. Because if you have a second gear that peaks under 60, there's going to be many more opportunities to fully enjoy the car through second gear. If your second gear ends at 55, for example, you get an extra gear change on your way to the national speed limit. It's just more enjoyable. Now, I know that why they've done it, and it's a common trend across the car industry, is to get a better 0 to 60 time. People are sadly obsessed with statistics and 0 to 60 times, and it's kind of sad and it's miserable, but that's the truth.